Ha chiuso bene il Bari che prova ancora con Cassano, posizione regolare, grande controllo in velocità di Cassano in area di rigore, Cassano ancora rientra sul destro, Antonio Cassano 2-1 e abbiamo visto due grandissimi giovani.
Che gol Fabio, che gol, lancio lungo, ha stoppato, ha controllato bene, ha dribblato ancora all'interno e poi l'ha messa dentro. Il Bari è in vantaggio meritatamente.
Secondo me quello che sta provando adesso Cassano non lo può spiegare neanche lui. Non lo può spiegare neanche lui. Chissà quanta gente avrà in quella curva lì.
Abbiamo dato il migliore in campo in Ninnaia, ma anche questo ragazzo, dopo questo gol, anche lui si meriterebbe la palma del migliore in campo. Due ragazzi interessanti. Oggi in grande difficoltà la difesa dell'Inter, perché ogni lancio lungo sia Cassano che Ninnaia è più veloce di tutti quanti. Anche qui Blanc si è fatto tagliare fuori troppo ingenuamente, uno come lui deve prendere posizione, non farsi tagliare fuori in questa maniera.
Senti, il regolamento va applicato, siamo d'accordo, però se Cassano non va sotto la curva adesso, quando ci va?
Proprio lui.
Adesso ha poco per reagire l'Inter, deve provare a farlo. Eccolo il gol di Cassano che parte ancora in contropiede, c'è Cassano in contropiede e ha cercato un pallonetto, ancora doveva riprendere fiato dalla corsa.
You are watching the Staten Island Soccer Report, and don't forget Monday Live.
All right, welcome everyone to a brand new edition of the Staten Island Soccer Report, coming to you live tonight from the studios of CTV. Alongside me, we got Vincenzo in the studio today, not on the phone.
Oh, on the phone. Thank you,
And also
Johnny.
Frank Tricomi. Welcome back, Frank.
Pleasure to be here as always.
Vincenzo, what happened? You're live in studio.
Johnny, thank you again for giving us this beautiful invitation here, and it's always a pleasure to be in the studio with you, with Frank, with your beautiful report. And we need soccer. We need more soccer, more soccer. Yeah. What you're doing for soccer, it's a beautiful thing, and that's really amazing. And we hope that we'll be more like you, and to keep up the good name of soccer.
Well, Vincenzo, we got a great show tonight. We have one of your teams on the show. We're patiently waiting outside. We're going to cover some stuff.
Change the phone.
There you go. Perfect.
Much better.
Vincenzo, welcome back. Yeah, well, we were just talking about some high school
Soccer?
Yeah, on the girls' side of things, only because we have some printouts. We have some printouts here, so we were going over some scores with the high school stuff.
Well, Johnny, we need to have high school soccer because that's the future.
Right. Yep. Exactly. That's where it starts. So, Vincenzo, any news? What's going on with the Italian League Serie A?
Johnny, as you know, the first 3 weeks,
You the volume?
your pretty boy,
Oh yeah, the pretty boy.
Ronaldo, didn't score no goals. But yesterday,
Yeah.
he scored 2 goals. And but Juventus, do they need the Cristiano Ronaldo goals?
Well, they're gonna need him. They're gonna need him if they're talking about.
The champion.
They're talking about the Champions League, right? And if they're talking about, I heard a rumor also that Dybala may be going.
To where?
They
I don't want to play no more. They always kept going out there and playing.
Well, just remember, Johnny, you remember that every week you learn something.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of the season, you might look, but then at the end, you gain experience, you gain better ball control, you could aim at the goalie, you could, improvement. If we don't make improvement, that means they don't care.
Yeah.
But as long as so what? You lost, but did you learn something? Yes. And for me, you are a winner.
Yeah, you could see with the last few weeks with the strikers, definitely, you saw some improvement going on with them, and we'll see what happens. We'd like to wrap it up Sunday with 3 points. We would definitely like to do that, and we'll see what happens.
John, you guys playing at the middle field?
No, we're playing in Jersey, Hazlitt, New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey, okay. But your home game, where is the home game?
The home games are in Hazlitt. All the games are in Jersey. Our home games are in Hazlitt, and then we go up and down the Parkway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, always far as almost close to Atlantic City. We're gonna try to defend, and they beat us handily. It was about 6-0.
But John, in this case, what you have to do, double up whoever the other team who got the ball. Double up, always double.
Yeah.
That more work, more hard work from your players because you have to double up. This way, you don't give chance to make an easy pass or to make a pre-shot. Double up, you confuse your opponent.
Right. Yeah, we're going to have a plan. When we start training this week, we'll come up with a plan for this team, and hopefully,
Rieccoci insieme con Biancarosso TV Sport e con Francesco Monteleone. Francesco, sai che quando vieni in trasmissione preparo sempre delle pillole da commentare con te. Sì. Guarda cosa abbiamo scoperto sul web. Negli Stati Uniti c'è un tifoso del Bari che fa una trasmissione dedicata al Bari.
Facciamo il gemellaggio.
Vediamo, Conteduca credo che sia il cognome di questo appassionato, ma vediamo un po' uno straccio di questa trasmissione.
Fantastico. Conteduca.
Dovremmo avere le immagini di questo video, di questa trasmissione sportiva sul Bari in America. Vediamo.
Staten Island Soccer Report, as always, alongside me, Frank Tricomi. I'll compare it to Great Kills. I mean, they're not that far from Great Kills. Gonna make it. All right, once again, I want to thank everybody at CTV, everybody behind the glass, Pat, Guy, George, Kenny, Brian LaPure, that's not here, but here in spirit. Frankie, thanks for coming on the show.
All right, always a pleasure.
We'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
sono molto oltre quello che noi possiamo immaginare.
È molto peggio di come la facevamo noi negli anni passati, la sigla col pallone che entra nella
Ti ricordi quando ci vestimmo con le maglie delle squadre di calcio? No?
Ma chi è quel genio che ha trovato questo qui?
No, ci ha aiutato Antonio Sisto, che è il nostro
È
uomo del web
fantastico,
praticamente.
bisogna fare il
Ha trovato-
gemellaggio subito con questo
Sì,
qua. È un altro svitato, uno svitato barese in giro per il mondo.
John Conteduca.
Fa esattamente le schifezze che facevamo noi in televisione molti anni fa. La sigla è tutta arrabattata. Lui è seduto con le pasce comprate al mercato, manco quelle autentiche. È il nostro clone,
Pazzesco,
John Conteduca. Pazzesco.
Allora, prendiamo una telefonata, pronto?
Pronto, buon pomeriggio.
Ciao Francesco.
Ho dedicato la mia vita nei momenti più felici ad inseguire un sogno, il mio sogno. Quante volte mi hai deluso, non importa, io ci credo e vivo il mio sogno. Pari grande amore, pari unica e sola, pari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo da sola, facci sognare ancora, facci gridare ancora, pari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo da sola, mai. Quanti viaggi con gli amici, tanti posti sconosciuti, tutti uniti e innamorati di un sogno, tutto sempre con orgoglio, anche quando sono stanco, mai nessuno può distruggere il mio sogno. Pari grande amore, pari unica e sola, pari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo da sola. vinceremo da sola.
You got anything to say?
I tell you what, awesome game.
Ho dedicato la mia vita e i momenti più felici ad inseguire un sogno, il mio sogno. Quante volte mi hai deluso, non importa, io ci credo e vivo il mio sogno. Pari grande amore, pari unica e sola, pari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo da sola, facci sognare ancora, facci gridare ancora, pari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo da sola, mai. Quando viaggi con gli amici.
Of that. I announced today that we got the Soccer World Cup. That's a big thing. Who else is going to do it? We've got a problem. It's in 2026. Gianni Infante, who's a great guy, and we announced it in front of the press. And 2026. And I said, well, wait a minute. Under the normal rules, I'll be out in 2024. So we may have to go for an extra term. Okay?
You're watching the Staten Island Soccer Report. And don't forget, stay live with your host, Giancarlo Duca.
Che gol Fabio, che gol! Lancio lungo.
All right. Welcome to the brand edition of the Staten Island Soccer Report. We had to show a little clip there of Antonio Cassano from years ago. Alongside me. What's going on, Vito? We got Vito Canetta alongside. Listen, Vito, we're on Facebook. We're on the Body page. We're on the Staten Island Soccer Report page, and we're also on YouTube tonight.
Okay.
So we're all over the place. Hopefully, we get the message out there. Yeah, well, we need that. We need to have some cheerleaders, right? So, like the Cosmos did back in the day. You know, the Cosmo girls, they called them. All right, that was good.
Honestly, no, I really mentioned it. The past keep calling. A good friend, a real worked for California, used to work for and Herman and he was on 6, unfortunately, we lost COVID.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Yeah, that's not good news, but we got some good news today. And as you can see behind me, the game is going on. Obviously, from this afternoon, New York City versus Portland, MLS Cup. Right. 7 years in existence. Right. New York City FC. And they got the job done, you know. Well, yeah, listen, we're not comparing, all right? Listen, it's 26 years and counting for the Red Bulls. Obviously, if you're a supporter of New York City FC, you support them. You don't support the Red Bulls, but can't speak about them, right? It's not about the Red Bulls.
I posti sconosciuti, tutti uniti e innamorati di un
In the playoffs. So we'll do probably an hour pregame or maybe 30-minute pregame show on Saturday. Stay tuned. That's going to be live. This is pre-recorded right now. This is like a last minute. Get up, as you can see in the background here. So stay tuned for that. Looking forward to doing that, and looking forward to talking to a couple of special guests I got coming on here today for that show. All right. No predictions yet. We'll probably make the predictions on the pregame show. All right. For the NWSL Championship game, we're going to do a pregame. I'll make my predictions at the end of that show. Who's going to win? Who I think is going to win that championship game. Okay. That being said, I believe that wraps up. Just looking forward again for the championship game and the draft coming up on the women's professional soccer side of things. Okay, let's put this aside here. Obviously, we don't have any phone calls today. We don't have Vincenzo on, we don't have Vito. So it's yours truly right now doing everything here. Okay, let's touch on body. We usually hit body right in the beginning, but I wanted to go on the NWSL first. So can't complain with body. I know I said we had to give them 10 games. Right, to see exactly where they stand, and right now it is it's 14 games. So they're 14 games into the season, and they're in first place. So you really can't argue with that. I mean, it's not a perfect record. They're 9 wins, 3 draws, and 2 losses. I mean, if you said that to me in the beginning, that after 14 games they'd be in first place, you take it, right? You're not going to argue with that. So that being said, no complaints with body, but they got to be careful because Palermo, out of nowhere, right, has snuck up into second place. and this team was pretty much on the bottom the first handful of games. They weren't playing well, but it seems like now they got things turned around. So be careful. And I don't think Body has played them yet. No, they have not. So they got 2 games with Palermo, and we don't have a good history with Palermo at all. 0. We don't do well against them. So looking forward to the next match again. Well, Body Palermo is not going to be until, I'm looking at the schedule, not until December, mid-December. So we still have about a month to go before those 2 teams play each other. Well, let's just go down the top 5 in the standings for Serie C in Italy. Bari, Palermo, Monopoli, Catanzaro, Avellino, and Foggia. That's Vincenzo's team and town where he's from. Foggia actually was up around the 5th or 4th spot, and they kind of faded a little bit. So Foggia dropped down. They have a record of 6 wins, 6 draws, and only 2 losses. But again, the draws are almost like a loss because you are losing 2 points when you draw a game. I mean, I think a draw would only be good, right? If you're like trailing by a couple of goals, and you come back and you come back and you tie like last second, all right, and you escape with getting a point instead of getting nothing. Right, that's the time when I think a draw is good. But if you're leading in a game and the other team scores, then you're losing points. It feels like a loss. So, all right. As far as Serie C goes, I mean, they got a long way to go. They're only not even at the midway point of their season. Season ends in May. So, Bari, just keep up the good work. Keep on. Doing what they're doing right now, and hopefully they'll get to Serie B, which is where we want to get them, and then obviously to Serie A. MLS playoffs. We got that coming up. Let's see. Let's just go down the standings. If I have the standings here, let's see if I have the. I don't think I got the standings, but I could pull that up right now. Just give me a moment here, and we'll just go down the standings real quick, and then we'll go through the playoffs because the playoffs start for the MLS this Saturday and Sunday for a couple of games, all right? Each day. We got a couple of games. All right, same thing like on the women's side. New England ran away with their conference, okay? 73 points. The next team's got 54. So the New England Revolution with 22 wins, 7 draws, and only 5 losses, all right, on the men's side. Followed by Philadelphia with 14 wins, 12 draws, and 8 losses. Then comes Nashville with 12 wins, 18 draws. 18 draws. Wow, that's a lot, right? 18 draws. And only 4 losses for Nashville. So they got the fewest losses. But again, 18 draws. All right. New York City, 14 wins, 9 draws, and 11 losses. Atlanta, 13, 12, and 9. Okay. Orlando makes the playoffs on the men's side. But on the women's side, we just spoke about that. Disaster. Okay, Orlando, 13 wins, 12 draws, 9 losses. New York Red Bull, which I have seen a lot of their games just by working a lot of their games. I watched them this season a lot, and my thought on them is they're
You're watching the Staten Island Soccer Report!
Watching the Staten Island Soccer Report. And don't forget...
dedicato la mia vita ai momenti più felici, ad inseguire un sogno, il mio sogno. Quante volte mi hai deluso, non importa, io ci credo e vivo il mio sogno. Bari, grande amore, Bari unica e sola, Bari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo da sola, facci sognare ancora, facci gridare ancora, facci gridare ancora, Bari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo da sola mai. Quanti viaggi con gli amici, tanti posti sconosciuti, tutti uniti innamorati di un sogno. Canto sempre con orgoglio, anche quando sono stanco, mai nessuno può distruggere il mio sogno. Bari, grande amore, Bari unica e sola, Bari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo.
All right, welcome everyone to a brand new edition of the Staten Island Soccer Report, coming to you live tonight from the studios of CTV. Alongside me, I got Vito Canena. I think, as always, you guys remember this face. And also tonight, a very special guest, Ludo Masucci. How are you guys?
Good. Thank you, John. Thank you for having me.
Just want to say one thing before we get going. We got David in the control room there. We got Guy back there. Kenny, thanks to all them guys for helping out with the showtime. Without them, there's no show. So, guys, let's just get right into it. We'll start with Vito. He's got some stuff here. Sure. It's not going to take long. You know, you want to start with the body? Serie D. And Ludovic, I'm sorry that we had to put you through this body song for a few minutes.
Well, I know why I was invited. Right. Because now the owner of Bari is the Napoli owner, since I'm a Napoli fan, so that's why I was invited.
Sure.
Laurentiis is the owner of my favorite team.
And the best owner, I think, in Bari's history. Yeah, I think so.
So we're going to get into that, and we're going to get into, just like Vito, cover some of this stuff here, what's going on Staten Island.
Yeah, well, you want to start with Staten Island, then let's talk about, let's talk about the girls' soccer team. So what I saw on the PSAL, 42 points, Susan Wagner. Tomville was second, 36. When I was there, Tomville, it was like title town, because they were winning every year. Curtis, 27 points, Patrides, 27. McKee, Staten Island Tech, right after, and then with 15, Udorp, 12 points, and then Port Richmond Red Raiders, and then CSI High School, McGowan, they were last. So that's for the girls' side. The boys' side, Curtis, first place with 32 points.
Nice.
Susan Wagner right after them at 31. Tomville, 29 points. Okay. Udorp, 26. McKee, Staten Island Tech, right there, 21. Patrides, 12. Port Richmond, 9. And then CSI McGowan rounding it up.
Okay.
So that's locally.
Basically, you know, soccer in this country, guys, they don't, you know, they have a playoff. So what you do in the regular season, sometimes you could finish second, third place, and then make a run and win a title, right? So it's not like in Europe where they just have the top team wins the Scudetto. So
well, that's for Serie A.
Right.
Not for Serie B and Serie C. They do have the playoffs.
Right.
But it's all to, in a way, to generate more income and more games and
excitement, yeah.
You know, when you mentioned before the show started the Mayor's Cup, that was an interesting thing. A lot of people might not know. You may want to.
Yeah, well, congratulations to the public school boys and girls soccer team for the city of New York beating the Catholic schools. The girls,
All-Stars.
right, the All-Stars, right, boys and girls. On the public school side, they won both games yesterday. They were played. The girls, I believe, won 2-1, and the boys were 3-0. So it was a sweep for the public schools.
You know, Ludo, they should do that in Serie A. They should have an all-star where there's North versus South. The best players from the North go up against
Yeah.
the best players in the South during the halftime, halfway towards the end of the season. Do it mid-season.
Let's give a quick body.
Well, there's already what to respond to his to answer to his questions. They're already talking about bringing the Italian Serie A back to 16 teams, the way it used to be a few years ago. I doubt it's going to pass because, like we mentioned, now everything is about money, is about business, is about TV rights, and sponsors.
I think you should increase it.
And that's what. Well, increase it because you're already finishing. Then don't forget that you have the national team in between those games, and in order to get the season completed, you still have to play a few Serie A games on Wednesdays. Then you have Champions League, you have Coppa Italia. There are too many games.
So much going on. All right, give us a quick update on Bari. Serie D.
Bari's
Serie D.
first place, 27 points. They're playing Gela next week, another Sicilian team.
And they're undefeated in Serie D, right? They got a good team.
They never lost, you know,
So,
they've had
hey, look,
ties. They beat Matera 1-0, 87 minutes this week. I saw it.
Ludo, it's unfortunate. We have to suffer as the fans of this team because of what the owner did, okay, last year. We suffer. Okay, they're in Serie D. But right now, we're the best team in Serie D. And that's what we have to do to climb the ladder again.
John, it's not the only owner. You see it every day in professional soccer, especially in Italy, that teams cannot. They don't have the funds. They don't have the money in order to begin a new season or start a new year. So they basically have to start from the bottom. It happened to Napoli. It happened to Messina. It happened to many other to Parma. It happened to many other professional teams that the funds are not there. So now the money is not there because it's basically currently in Italy a Serie C or Serie D player. They're basically making a living. So now the only way these clubs will survive once they reach the professional level is if a player in their youth system, in their farm system, develops and can generate a certain amount of money for the club. And of course, they have to be sold to a professional team. But now this is a whole different aspect. So now, do the Italian teams really want to work on their farm system? Do they want to invest the millions of dollars that are required in order to have an adequate farm system? I don't think they want it. They want the cake already done. They don't want to spend the money on the young players in order to develop the homegrown player.
I agree.
Well,
you couldn't say any
let's
better.
just finish up with Bari. And, you know, in their case, from what I hear from, you know, wasn't there, but he wasn't able to pay the players. But why not say anything? Why not say, hey, look, you know, I can't pay these guys no more. Didn't say anything for a couple of weeks, didn't pay the players. Then didn't pay for the league, Serie B, coming into this season, right? So why not say this ahead of time instead of now we lost all those pretty good players. We had some good players on that team. We had to start over, you know, from scratch.
Well, they kept a couple of veterans.
Why not say anything? Let the people know. Speak to the mayor. Speak to somebody. Ask for help.
Well, it's.
You know,
I would say it's the usual Italian way of doing it. That down to the stretch, down to the finish line, someone or something will come to the rescue and help these teams.
Yeah.
But now certain things sometimes they happen because they have to happen.
Yeah.
Just like Napoli did. Napoli could have been saved years ago. No, they had to start from Serie C. But now, why certain clubs have to start from Serie C and certain clubs have to start from Serie D?
Right, right.
It all depends on your how famous you are, on your history.
Okay, so anyway, that's in the past now. You know, Bari had it, as you know, scratch everybody, start from the bottom again, the real bottom, Serie D, right? So we're on our way back, I think. This is the way back to Serie A. This is the beginning of coming back.
I would think so.
We have a great owner.
Yeah.
Right, I think you would agree with that. He's a pretty good owner.
He's a businessman.
He's a business. All right, that's fine.
I don't think today the decisions are made according to your heart and according
Right.
to your emotions, the way they were made 30, 40 years ago
Right.
with the classic owners of like Roma, like Viola or
Right.
Fraizzoli or Moratti from Inter. De Laurentiis is a businessman.
It's about the
he
money.
treats his teams. It's a business.
Right.
So now, when you start from Serie D, any organization that starts from Serie D, remember, Italian soccer is in the hands of only a few people.
Right.
You know, if you want to go forward, you want to go up to Serie C, Serie B, Serie A, you have to speak to certain people. You have
Right.
to make a deal with them. They have to bring you the players. They have to supply you the players.
Right.
Because you need certain players that can play in a certain group, certain players that can play in Serie B, but they cannot play in other areas.
Okay.
So basically, you need to go along with those people if you have a plan that you want to go back to Serie A in 4, 5, 6 years.
So now, that being said, we have the right man to do that,
Oh,
to
for
make the
sure.
deals.
For sure, this is...
Yes, but they didn't make the deals with the right people in order to bring body from Serie D to Serie A.
We'll see.
Remember, you need
Right,
certain players.
Right, but 1 year at a time, right?
Correct. So
Okay.
now, these people will ask you, what do you want to do and in how long you want to do it?
Yeah.
So now the Laurentiis have to tell these people, listen, I want to go to Serie A in 5 years. So now you need these players. You need to pay them this amount of money.
Right.
They need to have this salary. This is going to be your roster.
Okay.
For
Sounds
this
good.
year. Then you go to Serie C.
Yeah.
Now the roster has to change.
Right.
I agree.
It happened to Napoli the same
Yeah.
way
Right.
when they went to Serie C.
I can't see De Laurentiis ruining his reputation and his legacy. He's always been a successful person. I can't see him... I can only see him going on the way up with Body. I can't see him going on the way down.
Well, remember, Vito, that De Laurentiis, when he came into the world of soccer, he had no clue.
Yeah.
Everything was in the hands of the manager at that time for Napoli. His name was Pierpaolo Marino. And he basically taught the very little about soccer that now De Laurentiis knows.
Right.
Of course, Berlusconi, much more experience. Moratti, they have they have great experience in soccer. They know the game. They know the atmosphere. De Laurentiis now, yes, he knows a little bit, but not as much as other presidents.
You're right. You don't even
do.
need to know because if you have the money, that's all that counts is the
That's- yeah,
investments. Is
that's it.
like
But that's the you hit it right on the nose. It's about money. Look at Juventus. Juventus, compared to the other Serie A clubs, they basically
They're light
generate
years.
5 times more the amount of money than Inter, than Roma, than Napoli
right.
and Lazio and Milan put together.
together,
So now
yeah,
the
that's-
salaries that Juventus can afford in Serie A, nobody else can.
That's true.
All right, we got a caller? All right, caller, you're on the Staten Island Soccer Report. Going once, twice. If nothing, we could just move
I
on.
don't know. We hear the wind.
All right, so that being said, we'll close the book on Body right now. I mean, good luck to them. Hopefully they can get back to...
Yeah, I think
you
they
know.
will, John, because they have veterans that were there the whole time. You have Brienza's the captain. They brought back the Cesare.
Listen,
So that's what helps.
They
You
don't
need-
have anything right now. They have to get back to at least Serie B.
Yeah. Well, the forwards.
They got a stadium. That's all they got.
Right, to the professional
Yeah.
level. Look at
Right.
Parma. Parma,
Parma
they
did
didn't
it.
even have hot water in their locker rooms
Oh, wow.
at one point. They didn't even have a locker
Yeah,
room.
right.
Yeah.
The
So-
lights were not turning on.
Yeah.
So there's hope. If they did it, you know. Parma
There's a
did it.
lot of hope
There's
for Body. Look
There's
at their
hope.
forwards. Punzeban,
Again, it starts with-
Punzeban and Simier.
There's hope for
They've been
Body, but look
scoring.
how many clubs do not have hope anymore. They
Right,
basically
yeah, that's-
just,
well, that's the
they
sad-
just disappear and they
that's-
have to start
Yeah.
from Eccellenza or Promozione, even in the
Well, De Laurentiis,
amateur
De
level.
Laurentiis said it. They're the Body's the 6th or 7th biggest fan base. So
Yeah,
when you have that kind of a fan base, you deserve to be in the upper tier. So
And Napoli
It'll
too,
be-
when they were in that situation, right? The same thing with the
yeah,
Knicks.
you know what? Body
Same.
fans have to be patient. You know, it might. Hopefully, they could do it in 3 years. We'll see.
All right, if we can't get the phones going, it's okay, we'll just continue on. All right, so that being said, let's jump into your background a little bit. You're wearing a logo there, the Brooklyn Italians. That's
Yes,
tell
Brooklyn
us-
Italian
tell
Soccer
us about-
Club.
yeah.
It's a club that's been around for many years. Founded in 1949 in Brooklyn, in Bensonhurst. And currently, let's start from the top.
Yes.
We have the NPSL team, National Premier Soccer League, that this league plays 3-4 months out of the year, and it starts the end of April, beginning of May, and the season runs through the middle of August. And then we have a youth system. We have a pre-travel and travel teams from U7 to U19 that compete in the NPL, National Premier League. There are only 10 National Premier Leagues in the U.S. And then we have a Scuola Calcio development program where kids learn the fundamentals, and that's open to boys and girls from 4 to 14 years old. So basically, overall, we have about 500 kids. We also have a girls program that they play in the CYO League. We have 2 girls teams, and it's growing. So the club is growing.
Okay, so we're growing with the girl on the girl side of things. You guys are growing with that.
Yes.
Okay?
I remember Franco Zuccala did a show when he used to comment, they used to give the results of the Brooklyn Italians, I temi del calcio, remember that?
Yes, it's an historic club.
And he used to, every week, they used to say, oh, Brooklyn Italians did this, Brooklyn Italians did that, I remember.
Yeah.
Yes, 2 times U.S. Open Cup champions back in 1979 and 1991, and many famous professional players from the past have played with the Brooklyn Italians.
Name some, name a few.
Mike Windishman, the captain of the United States national team back in 1990 in Italy. Juan Carlos Osorio.
Oh yeah,
the coach of the Mexican national team. Tim Parker currently plays with the Red Bulls. Shalee Joseph that played with the Boston in the MLS. And a few other players that right now do not come
All
to
right,
mind.
that's fine.
Trying to go
Yeah. Guys, we could cut the phone line off if it's not working. We'll just cut it off.
I just want to say, will you agree with this statement? Life has relationships. Sports shows us true love. Life needs sport. This was a quote from ESPN magazine.
Yeah.
It does. No, I totally. Sport brings emotions from the younger. It's passion. It's emotions, like sports in general. Look at us at the Brooklyn Italians. We have an over 50 team that we play in the Long Island League every Sunday. We chase a soccer ball. We practice during the week, and we play on Sundays and compete against other teams from Long Island and Queens. So passion you cannot buy. And
over 50.
Yeah.
Heard that?
I want to say,
that's unbelievable.
Growing
That's great.
up, Ludo and John, a lot of people would, throwing the ball around with their father. Me and my father, facciamo I passaggi. We used to, kick the soccer ball around.
Right.
That's
being Italian, we used to play in the piazza.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere where you had like a little space, whether it was dirt or it was the piazza of the town where you were born, and only God knows how many windows were broken.
So talk about your team. You're over 50. How's the season
currently,
going?
the season is going really well. We're currently in second or third place by goal differential, I believe.
Okay.
And yesterday we defeated Hoda, the Hoda Bavarians, the over 50 team in Long Island in Franklin Square in overtime on penalties.
Nice.
We defeated them, and now we're on to the semifinal of the League
Very
Cup,
good.
and we play next Sunday against another team from Long Island. They're called Polonia.
Good. Good luck with that
I'm
next week.
assuming they're mostly Polish.
Okay.
Where would you put, Ludo, the Brooklyn Italians in comparison with the Cosmos? What place would you, what would you say?
Well, the Cosmos have a rich traditions. The best players in the world have played with the Cosmos back in the 70s. I remember I was a teenager and going to Giant Stadium to watch the Cosmos. 75,000 people watching Franz Beckenbauer. Yes, people could say, oh, but they were over, they were not good enough to play in Europe. Agree. But still, when you see a Pelé, a Beckenbauer, a Carlos Alberto, and Neskens and other players touch the ball, the touch is always there. And when a pass is made 20, 30, 40 yards and it reaches your teammate's foot, you still enjoy, and class is class, no matter how old you are. So we really had a great time, and now they want to continue with that rich tradition.
Okay.
And I just found out last week that a new league is about to be born with 11 founding members of that will play in the NPSL, but the professional side with professional players. So the Cosmos will be back next season to play in August in Brooklyn and in Coney Island at the Keyspan.
Hopefully one day, Ludo, we can see the Cosmos jump into MLS. That would be something else.
Well,
that would
that would be great, because they certainly deserve it. Like I said, they've been around for many years, and
we may have a caller
everyone
again.
knows the Cosmos around the world.
Caller, you're on the Staten Island Soccer Report.
Okay, gentlemen, can you hear me, guys?
Hey,
Yes.
Fabrizio Benici. How are you?
How are you?
Un siciliano, Ludo. Tu sei napoletano, noi siamo barese e abbiamo, per completare l'insalata c'è un siciliano.
Bra.
That's right. Anyway, a question to you about the Italian Federation. If they do not qualify for this European Cup, do you see any drastic changes?
Good question. Good question.
Oh,
I like that question a lot.
I think they just changed. They added a new president, right?
Yeah,
well,
but
the president has changed, but like the way we were talking before, I think it has to change at the street level. It has to change at the youth level, and it has to change at the development level. I don't think currently Serie A as a structure in a place that everyone, all the clubs, they're on the same page in order to develop the youth system, to develop their young players and bring them to Serie A. We want to see more Lorenzo Insigne. We want to see more of the Verrattis. But in order for these players to develop, there has to be a structure in place in Serie A. And not many clubs have the structure currently in Serie A in order to compete with other European clubs, big clubs in other nations like Germany or Spain and the English Premier League. Those clubs really invest a lot of money in their youth system. In Serie A, that is not being done because they want already the product. They want to purchase someone already developed from another nation and basically bring them to Serie A and then try to sell it, and hopefully this player will turn out to be a great player. Look at the perfect example. Look at Udinese. Look at the players, look at the roster of Udinese. Sometimes when I look at that, when I watch their games and I look at their roster, sometimes I think they find these players on the yellow pages because I really don't understand the system. And other clubs, they're trying to copy the exact same system. So now everyone has to be on board on the FIGC, and they all have to be on the same. They all have to be on the same page. Now I will take it a little bit further. Cagliari, they have great players. Atalanta have great youth players, but in order for these players to compete at the national team level, they must play with big clubs, meaning you need the experience of Champions League, of Europa League. That's where your bones will be built. So now if you stay in Cagliari, if you stay in Atalanta and you just play Serie A, I don't think you will have adequate experience when the World Cup comes around or the European Cup comes around in order to compete with the big boys, with the other national teams. So now, even if a player from Cagliari, a good player from Cagliari or Atalanta, gets sold to Napoli or to Roma or to Juventus, they're going to sit on the bench.
I'm with you.
Right.
They're going to sit on the bench, and it's not going.
That's the
and
problem.
it's not going to happen, and we're not going to develop. We're not going to develop the players and compete. Remember, we won the last 2 World Cups. I'm not sure about 1934 and 1938 because I wasn't around. But remember, in 1982 and 2006, Italy became World Cup champions because the majority of the players were from
Serie A.
Juventus.
Yeah.
Juventus had 6-7 players that were starting every Sunday.
Right.
So those players, they had Champions League experience, and they were absolutely great players.
Homegrown.
Now look at Juventus. How many Italians do they have on the team? And the players from outside of Italy, the foreigners, they occupy the important positions on the field. Yes, we have the Chiellinis and we have the Bonucci's, but how long they can be
That's
around
it.
for?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is,
they-
Italy's got it. It's difficult. It's sad to see Italy being second fiddle to Portugal, to Spain, because you know what? We taught we taught the world. We modernized the sport of soccer. So it's a shame to see the changes, or if they're just selling out. If Italy they don't care. They rather, get these foreign players to come in because it's gonna bring a lot of money to Italy. That's what they've been doing. I mean, Matteo Salvini made a good point. When they had 73,000 the game against Portugal, he says it's all about money. Things got to change sooner or later, because I don't think Italian fans want to see, this struggle continue. Because if they don't make the Euros, this is worse than not making the World Cup, because this is
the World Cup was
but
worse.
you want to know something, John? It's a repeat. It's a repeat of the
it's a repeat,
failure.
right.
You don't.
So,
you got to
guys,
go in the better
The
direction.
business side will never change.
Right,
In
exactly.
today's sports, in general, the sponsors dictate
Yeah.
when and where you play and what time you play. According
Absolutely.
to
Yes.
how many people they get to watch. They get to watch TV.
And I think Mancini's is only a trial coach, because they gave him a 2-year contract. They didn't give him a long-term contract. So I mean, this is a test
So
for
guys,
him to
should
see what
they
happens.
put a cap on foreign players?
Absolutely.
They can't?
They can't,
Yeah,
because
it's a shame that they used to have all these key players come from Italy, and now they're veering off that and
That's
going
true.
to
So why? So
because of the
getting players to come in there.
because of the European Union. Since Italy is part of the European Union, so those players can go to play in different countries within the European Union and still be considered Italians, let's say. Just like a pizza man or a construction worker or any other jobs that from Italy they can move to Germany or vice versa, so that you cannot change because of the European Union. The only way you can change it if you exit the European Union. And that's what England is trying to do.
Yes.
So now if England succeeds in exiting the European Union, then you can put a cap on, I believe they already spoke about, they spoke about 12 players.
They're trying to do that now.
You know,
right?
Fabrizio, what has the Italian League done? Make everybody's national team better. That's what we've done.
Yeah. All right,
you see
Fabrizio.
all these great players, they come to Serie A, they go on the national team, they score against Italy.
The one thing I want to say is that they can't just keep changing president and coaches every 1-2 years, because there's never going to be continuity like that, and they can never be successful if they're going to keep doing that.
Yeah, at some point.
It has to change at the bottom. It has to change. You have to start changing from the streets. You have to start changing in the, like I said before, the youth system, the farm system of every Serie A team. But everyone has to be on the same page.
And that's right. And Ludo, also give a shot to some of these players in Serie B. There was that clip that you sent me, that Lega Pro.
Fabrizio, any last words?
Lega Pro.
Any last words, Fabrizio?
Some of them are talented.
All right, thank
And, we'll see how, we'll watch the game Italy and against USA friendly.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
All right, thank you for
Believe it or not,
calling.
guys,
You got it, guys.
Thanks, man.
the majority of the Italian teams, they don't want to give their players to the national team.
Yeah.
They're going to get hurt. They might get hurt, and it gets them tired because there's so much at stake in the Italian Serie A, whether it's Champions League, that they really, these games during the week where these players have to leave their club teams and go to the national team, it's a little bit.
It's much.
The Italian teams, it's business.
Let's take Juventus for example. National team play. What do they have now? Well, now not so bad, right? Last year was more. Well, the year before that, 5-6 players, right? Like you mentioned. So You got the national team, like you mentioned, the Champions League and right, Coppa Italia,
yeah.
Super Cup, and all these cups, right?
Exactly.
It's just too much on a body.
You know what I think, Ludo? It's not like there's not enough talent. Tomorrow we're going to see Keane, 18-year-old from Juventus, playing against the United States.
Well, that's a friendly.
Yeah, I know, but you want to discover who's going to be the next coming. And we have these players. I remember one year when Daniele Sciudone was playing for Taranto, Bari discovered him in Serie C, and he ended up being a good player. So, you know, they have them. It's
So
not
what's
like
the purpose
they
of
have the
tomorrow's
players.
game? What are they going to
The purpose,
get?
I guess Mancini doesn't have any other choice. If you want to try a player from Cagliari, from Atalanta, from Bologna that you called on the Italian national team, yes, it is a scrimmage, it is an exhibition game,
Right.
but it's still an international game, and these players will gain a little bit of experience because it will be useless to put the Bonucci's and the Chiellinis against the USA. So you want these players
How do you feel, Ludo, about Francesco Caputo from Altamura Bari? He's got 6 goals. He scored a goal against Napoli, a goal against Juventus. Why isn't he not being looked at? The guy has always been, even in the lower divisions, he was always a top goal scorer in Serie B. He was always up there, and now he's doing it in Serie A. And he could very well be the goal-scoring leader when it's all said and done this year. And Mancini's not even looking at him.
So what team does he play for?
Empoli.
Is that the reason?
That's okay.
Well, the reason is, I think, at this point, he's going with experience at this point. So he basically he looks at 2-3 players from each position. Like, for example, you had Perin, a great goalkeeper for Genoa, starting every game.
Right.
Now he went to be the backup of the Juventus. If you're in the national team, let's say you can be called for the national team, why would you want to sit on a bench and not play for a team where you can play 90 minutes, 90 minutes at 90 minutes every game?
Exactly.
So now, right now, what Mancini is trying to do is, yes, he is bringing heart, he is bringing emotions, he is bringing passion back to the Italian national team, but now we're lacking goal scoring.
Yeah.
This is what we're lacking now. So now you have a guy like Balotelli, who's 26, 27 years old, I don't even know, who's still a kid.
Right.
Mentally speaking, he still hasn't grown up. So now if he did give him a chance back in August or September, something happened between game 1 and game 2
he played
that he
against
didn't
Poland.
call him anymore.
Yeah, after the Poland game, that was the last time we saw him.
So now, a coach like Mancini or any other coach, he has to think about the group. He has to think about the locker room. Remember, every locker room has senators. The senators are taken into consideration, and then the entire group. If the group says we do not want this player, Mancini or any other coach, they will not call that particular player.
What about
because
Immobile?
he ruins the balance of the
What
of the locker
about
room.
Ciro Immobile? He's ripping it up in Serie A, but in the national team, he hasn't scored a goal in over a year. He had 2 easy chances.
Well, it could be nervousness. It could be. There's a lot of factors that go
To
into
his
it.
defense, if he's getting chances, that's a good
Yes,
thing.
all
That's
of a
good
sudden,
thing.
correct.
But if he's not doing anything,
Yeah.
that's different.
No,
but
but
he's getting chances.
But John, he's getting chances. But what counts is putting the ball in the net.
Of
and
course,
he hasn't
but listen,
done that.
as a soccer player, if you're getting chances, that's all you can ask for. Even as a coach, if my player's getting chances, he's not scoring, it's going to go in eventually.
Yeah, but you know what? He's
As a coach,
but Immobile.
You're a fan. You're seeing it the wrong way. As
No,
a fan.
but Immobile, I think he's gotten too many chances because, you know, he's a different
But he's
player.
going to be called up no matter
He's
what.
a
so
different player.
he's gonna
For
be
some
there.
reason, like, okay, with Lazio, no problem. But maybe he's playing a little bit back. His position with the national team is not the same as in the league. And he's, you know, it's strange because he's not.
Look at Belotti, for example.
Yeah.
Belotti is not the same player as he was 2 years ago with Torino. He had a great season. Torino did not want to sell him. So now he only plays for Torino. So now here's a great, I think he's a great player.
He is.
But now we need to see him at an international level. In Champions League, in Europa League, to compete. He's a fighter.
Yeah.
When I see Belotti play, he reminds me of Cavani. He always has that fire in his eyes that he wants to kill everyone on the field. He really puts 150%, but he lacks experience. And I think he also had some physical issues, that he's not the same player as he was 2 years ago. Now, Torino received a few offers to sell them. Cairo did not want to sell him. So now he's worth not even half of what he was worth 2 years ago. But now, if you would have gone to any European team 2 years ago, maybe one had more international.
That's true.
International experience.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Let's touch on Buffon. What's your take on Gigi going to PSG? We haven't spoke about that. I know it was last season.
Juventus. See the thing that I like, and I don't say this often about Juventus, is that Juventus is a corporation. Juventus is a business. So basically, yes, you gave a certain amount of years to the club give it back to you, but when the time has come, Juventus will put their foot down and say, listen, it's time for you to go.
That's it.
They did it with Del Piero. They did it with Buffon. You might ask for something, you're not going to get it. Look at Marotta, for example. Marotta, the general manager, after so many years at Juventus, a month before, he found out that his contract was not going to be renewed. So he might go to Inter. So it's a team that wants to keep up with the European mentality, with the big club mentality, like Real Madrid, or Barcelona, or Bayern Munich. He wants to. It's a club, and it's the only club in Italy that can do that because the money that's able to generate.
Juventus is very capable of winning a decade in a row, the Scudettos. They're on their way. Now they're trying to go for 8.
Listen, absolutely, without a doubt. The players that they have, I mean, you have players on the bench that are making $8, $9, $10 million a year. Napoli or any other team cannot compete with them. Look at Roma. Roma, every year, it's like they're starting over and over and over again. They have to sell a couple of players, and they're back, and they're always in deficit. Napoli is not. But Napoli has a cap. Napoli cannot pay more than $5-6 million per year their top players. Juventus can offer them more money, and they stay on the bench. So they have 25 players that at any given time they can play in Serie A. Even though this year I think that Juventus might slip up a little because they're not too much concentrated on the Serie A. But I think their focus is on...
for Juventus, is Champions League trophy or bust?
Yeah, so look, as a Naples fan, right? If they don't win, if Juventus does not win the Champions League...
It's a failure.
It's a failure.
Absolutely.
So their main focus is... Vincenzo, call the studio line, please. Ciao.
Yes, their main... Yes. You could win 10, 15 Scudettos because you are going to win those Scudettos based on the revenue that the club generates on a yearly basis that cannot compete with the rest of the Serie A.
What's the money for the Champions League? Do you know?
If you reach the final, the semi-final, you're looking at between 110 and 130 million dollars.
And they haven't. An Italian club hasn't won in a while the Champions League.
Yeah.
Well, the last one was Inter.
It's been a little bit. It's been a little bit. It's been a little bit, but we're talking about.
But now we're competing. Yes, progress has been made by the Italian clubs. We are competing, and we are getting a little better. We are very close with even. I think we're better than the English and the Spanish. So we are getting there. We are getting the respect.
But that's no thanks
from the past.
But the Italian players is what we really want, not foreign players to come
absolutely.
here. Like Ronaldo, does Juventus need Ronaldo to win the Champions League?
Maybe.
Do they really need that guy to win the Champions League?
Well, they got to the final 3 years ago, back in 2015 with Zaza.
Thank you.
Playing forward, they got to the.
So thank you. So the answer is no. The answer is no.
I don't know.
Would have stuck with Buffon for another year instead of Ronaldo. But they brought Ronaldo in because it's a business, and he's selling shirts and he's selling tickets. He sold out. He sold out. The first 5 minutes they signed,
they sold out. There's a question for you, Brooklyn Italians. Is there a Staten Island branch? They want to know.
No, there's not. No, there's not a Staten Island branch. We are unique to Brooklyn, even though we have many Staten Island players that come over the bridge and play for the Brooklyn.
Yeah, they're not far. They're right over the
We
bridge.
have coaches that live in Staten Island, and we have a few players that live in Staten Island, and they.
Do you have a phone number you want to give out? If anybody's
The
interested?
phone number of the club is 718-232-9435, and the website is brooklynitalians.org.
Right. You can see them on Facebook too. They have
Yes,
a Facebook
Facebook
page,
and the
Instagram.
website. And
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. All right. So, again, that's just my feeling. I don't think they need him to put them over the top. Yeah.
Well,
What do
he's
you
still
think?
one of the best
You
players.
think they really need
Well,
him?
you have the best play. There was an opportunity. Ronaldo coming to Serie A.
Yeah.
They not only benefit Juventus, it benefited the entire
Right.
Serie A, and they brought them back to the 90s, to the 80s,
Yeah.
when we had the best players
Yeah, we have
in
Diego
the world,
Maradona.
starting with Maradona, Falcao,
Yeah,
Zico.
that's true.
They were all coming to Serie A.
That's true.
So now it did bring a little bit of
some energy.
fame back
Right, some more energy to the
for the
whole-
entire.
Right.
For the entire, remember, just like Maradona did back in the 80s and 90s with Napoli,
Yeah.
Ronaldo will generate revenue for other clubs by selling
Sure.
out and
You saw-
playing in other clubs.
ESPN already has a deal now. They're showing all the games from Italy. ESPN Plus.
Yes, been lost their right after
Right.
3 years. They did lose the contract was
Yeah,
not.
contract's over. ESPN took over, but it definitely attracted attention.
Oh, it did.
Without a doubt.
From that point of view, as a whole, Italian Serie A did make some progress
Right.
at the international level with the clubs.
Right.
Champions League, Europa League, we have more clubs getting to the next round and even reaching semis and quarterfinals. What work needs to be done, a lot of work needs to be done, is at the national team level.
Absolutely.
And in order for that to change, the Italian Serie A clubs, all the clubs,
Of course.
they have to support the national team.
right.
If they're not going to support, and not all the clubs are going to be on the same page, the national
That's right.
team will never reach.
Yeah, it's full potential.
So,
the
question.
full
Because
potential
you look at
the
England now,
international
England
level.
is improving. You look at Holland, Holland is back. They just got into the Final Four by tying Holland. They beat France the other day. These clubs are
They tied
coming
Germany.
back.
I mean, yes, yesterday they lost 5-2. But Belgium back in the
they're only
80s and
human.
90,
Yeah.
they were not even on the
That's
international
right.
map.
Right.
And look
Yeah.
at them now.
There
third
was only
place.
one player that I can remember from the 90s,
Yeah.
Vincenzo Schifo.
Schifo, he was very good. And
Back
then-
in the 90s
yeah.
when I was
Yeah.
young. Now you have
Yeah,
they have a
everybody.
great
Belgium,
they have a great team that play these players. They play in great.
to me,
Dries Mertens. You know how
that's
much
right.
Napoli
Oh,
paid Dries
forget it,
Mertens?
forget it.
9 million.
Yeah, they're stacked. Belgium is stacked.
9 million
and you know
Napoli
what?
played-
They
paid for
They
Mertens.
lost 5-2, but you know what? They can't go on forever. Sooner or later.
So-
but I would love to see Belgium and Croatia square off in the European Cup final next year. Of what they
Croatia,
should.
a nation of 4 million people,
Croatia.
basically a little bit bigger than Brooklyn.
Heart, right? Heart,
A
talent, heart.
John, a great generation,
Great generation.
of players.
Okay.
That's
Remember,
right.
history
Yeah.
will be written when you have a great
Right.
generation of players.
That's right, golden
And
generation.
currently, Italy right now, we are lacking
The golden
talent.
generation, yeah.
We are lacking the talent right now in Italy.
So Ludo, I'm going to put you as head coach of the national team for 5 minutes, okay? What would you do different? What players would you have on the starting 11 for Saturday's game? Different.
What do you mean Saturday's game?
Oh, the
Saturday's game
against
that we played
Portugal.
against Portugal,
Steven
right?
Al-Sharawi.
No, I would have done exactly.
Same lineup?
I would have done exactly what Mancini did, and see, Italy pressed for 60 minutes.
right.
You have the players, so Mancini wanted to put on the field players that more or less they know each other. Now you got Jorginho that
Yeah.
dictates the play at the midfield. 90% of his balls they are first touches.
Chemistry.
Insigne that played with Jorginho. Verratti that played with Insigne
Yeah, okay.
in Pescara.
Yeah.
Immobile that played with Insigne and Verratti
So there
in
you go.
Pescara
Yeah. So he-
under,
right. Chemistry.
under Zeman.
Do we got a caller?
Yeah, I think so.
It's my you, Johnny.
Hey, there he is, Vincenzo.
Listen, over there, it's busy signal for the last half hour.
Hey, listen, you know this is the hottest show on earth, so.
I'm telling you. Staten Island Soccer Report.
Vincenzo, we have Vito and Ludovico Masucci. Ludo.
Caro Vincenzo, how are you?
Buonasera.
Come stai, Masucci?
Tutto bene, come stai Vincenzo? How are you?
Forza Napoli, forza Juventus, forza Italia. E forza Bari. Don't forget the Bari.
Of course.
Boston Serie D.
Vincenzo, what's your take? What happened on Saturday?
L'Italia purtroppo gioca bene, ma non segna.
See, that's the truth.
E la regola del calcio, chi segna più gol vince.
Who scores more goals wins.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah, absolutely.
Però io quello che vedo che nel futuro avremo una bella squadra.
I think the Italians are starting to fall in love again with the Italian national team because these players, regardless how famous they are, they're showing heart. They're showing that they really care. I think everyone, regardless if they're on the bench, they play 5 minutes, everyone is putting 150% into this project.
Mancini sta un experiment, vuole sperimentare con Tonelli, Grifo, a couple of youngsters, and now tomorrow with Keane. So, you know what? They have to, sooner or later, you got to give the youth a shot. You got to throw them in the fire sooner or later.
Well, now's the time.
Yeah.
Now's the time.
Gianni, the team with Mancini, I like what he's doing because he's making space for the younger players. If you notice, the average age is 26 years old. If you take out Chiellini and Bonucci, the Italian probably is the youngest team in the tournament.
Right.
So, you know, I like the goalkeeper and all those young guys upcoming. Now it takes time.
He saved
you know,
him.
Roma wasn't
Fantastic
built
save.
in one day.
Yes, Vincenzo, sorry to interrupt you. Regardless who you have on the national team, there might be famous players or non-famous players. The victories, the progress starts in the locker room. The first job of every coach, whether it's the national team or a club team coach, you have to create the atmosphere. You have to create the group inside the locker rooms and get rid of the rotten apples right away. Look at what happened with Germany in the last World Cup.
Yeah.
That locker room was split in four ways.
Yeah.
That team was
And
not
it showed.
That team was not
Yeah.
together.
Ozil.
And it showed. Look at Argentina. Argentina, they had a coach that, to my understanding, he was a puppet. But for him to make a substitutions, he had to ask permission to Messi and Mascherano first before he would make a substitution. So Messi in Argentina decides who gets called and who doesn't get called. So you have to create the group. And what I give a lot of credit to Mancini so far, that's what in 1 year that he's been around, I believe, he created the group.
Yeah, 1 year.
He created the locker room. It's solid. They're working, they're sweating, and they're giving 150%. And that's the first step towards progress, toward victories.
Now, December 2nd is the, they have to wait the draw to see who they're going to be grouped with, Italy. They said December 2nd.
Correct.
The next
Correct.
phase, you know, because they didn't finish first. They're not going into the Final Four. You know what? It's a work in progress. They still need a lot to do. I mean, you know, I think we got a little spoiled when Italy was so great, 90, 94, 98, 2006. I think, you know, it's a whole regeneration now to get back.
Yeah.
It's going to take some time,
And it's
but
going to take time because it's
No,
a national
Johnny,
team.
we need a score.
They're not together every day.
dude, they need a score is absolutely right.
To get the
There's
score
no,
like,
it's a shame that
Totoschi, Lacci, Rossi.
Paolo Rossi, yeah.
We had always somebody that was
That's right.
able to score
Always,
4 or 5
always.
goals in the tournament.
Oh, Vito's got the guy.
Yeah, but back
Francesco
then, Vincenzo,
Caputo. Francesco
Vincenzo,
Caputo.
back then, in the like we were saying before, in the big Serie A teams, and I'm going to mention Juventus, you had 6, 7 Italians starting every week and playing the majority of the games and playing in Champions League at the international and that's how you won the World Cup in 2006 and in 1982. Remember, since 1974, where we were eliminated in Germany, we didn't even pass the first round. Italy, every 12 years, reached a final. Either they won it or they lost it. But every 12 years, Italy was in a final since 1974. And last World Cup was the only one that they did not reach the final.
Yeah. I can't see the Italian team being down forever because sooner or later something's going to give. It's going to. They've been on the decline for 12 years. You know what? I can't see that they have to. They can only go up from this point.
It's up to the Serie A clubs.
Yeah, it's true. That's where
we keep going back to the same. It's up to the Serie A clubs, the youth system.
Give them a shot.
And they really want
coaches got to let them play.
Remember when in 2006, when Germany lost the World Cup to Italy, the semifinal in 2006, right 3-4 months later, Germany put on a structure at the youth level that every youth club in the Bundesliga had to follow that structure of development. But all the clubs were on the same page. All the clubs agreed, and all the clubs followed through. In Italy, it's a little bit different the way things get done. You might change the people on top, whoever sits behind the desk, but the work has to be done on the field, on the grass, at the club level.
E non sulla lavagna, bisogna giocare sul campo.
They have to start playing on the streets, Vincenzo, like we used to play on the streets when we were little, and get off the phones and get off the internet. They have to go back with the Super Santos on the streets and play in the piazzas like we used to when we were kids.
So if they miss the Euros, not a shock, right? Not a surprise.
Well, I doubt it. No, you're not going to miss the. You're not going to miss the Euro. Yes, you will qualify. It's only a matter of where you're going to end up. Yes, you know when the draw, where you're going to be, in which bracket you're gonna be of the draw.
Italy's hosting some games in the Euro 2020. Some of the phases they're going to be hosting. Rome is a city. They did like a split Euro. The final is going to be in Wembley, but Italy's going to have some presence.
Right. So they're basically trying to spread the wealth. They want to give a like we said, it all comes down to to business where everybody wants to eat and everyone wants a piece of the pie.
And I heard Ludo and Vincenzo and John that Portugal and Spain are trying to host a 2030, but they want Morocco to join them. What do you think about that for 2030?
Listen,
that's
Morocco
an African team.
Spain, they see each other across the sea.
Right.
That's an African team. I think you're ready. Did they approve that they're going to play with 48 teams in 2022?
Yes, it's a done deal.
Okay, going back, talking about business. Qatar getting the World Cup in 2022. A nation that doesn't even exist on the soccer map wins the bid for only God knows what took place under the table and the millions of dollars that
the almighty dollar. That's it.
Now you have 48. I believe it's already 48 teams, or they're going to start in 2026.
26 will be the first year.
Right. So they're going to have like a group. So everybody.
Yeah.
So now you have more games. You generate more revenues. You have the sponsors. Everybody gets richer. The federations, the national teams. Everyone is going to get.
And what do you think
richer.
about Usain Bolt, the fastest man on the planet, offered a soccer contract? I think Body should sign him. I know he was going to the Australian League where Del Piero was. That's where they talked to.
Vito, talking about the subject. I think Manchester. He wants because his favorite team is Manchester United.
Okay.
So he wants to go try out for Manchester United.
Yeah.
But you don't go to Manchester United without playing soccer. I don't think they.
No, he's playing in Australia.
Yeah, the Australian League offered him a contract.
I don't think Mourinho would ever. Would ever agree to that.
That's like, I mean, like I said, brings people to the stadium.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sells tickets. It's a business. It's a business.
You know.
What does Ronaldo do?
Well, we've seen
Sells
athletes.
tickets.
We've seen athletes change sports. We saw it with Michael Jordan, who tried to play for the baseball with the Chicago
Baseball,
White
yeah.
Sox. We saw
Chicago,
Bo
yeah.
Jackson play multiple sports.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen athletes do this. you
Yeah,
know?
he could do it.
It's
Hey.
not a new thing.
All right, guys, listen, we got about 3 minutes.
Hey,
Okay,
Johnny.
3 minutes. I want to give the 3 minutes to the women's national team of the United States for their 500th win about 2 weeks ago. Ludo, what do you think about that team?
They have a big, the women's national team, they have huge reputation around the world. They're great athletes. They're great. It's a great program,
Yeah.
and they can compete with the best around the
Best in
world.
the world.
They have competed in the past 20 years with the best programs of the world.
All kidding around aside, do you think they could beat some men's team? Like
No.
It's a different pace.
It's a
I
different,
doubt. I have
you
my
think?
doubt.
There's no men's team in the world that they can't.
It's a different pace. It's a different
No,
pace
no,
game
it's
between a
changed the
women's
pace.
team and a women's game and a men's game. It's a completely different pace in the running and the development of the progression of the game.
Vincenzo,
Give us a score tomorrow.
No,
Italy,
I would- that would never
USA.
happen.
I want to hear what Enzo thinks tomorrow. Chi vince domani? Italia, Stati Uniti, amichevole.
Per me, as a coach, as a former soccer player, when I go inside the field, I put 200%. Doesn't matter if it's friendly, if it's a regular game. Go out there, play the game. If you make a mistake, learn from the mistake. It's a learning process for the coach, for the player. So I would say give it your best all the time, and then whatever happens, happens. So I would say this friendly game is just for the coach to find out who really wants to play.
Right.
If you go where I get there, I get an extra $100,000 because I was selected for the team. No, I want to. If I was Mancini, you're Masucci, you're on my team. Go inside, give it your best. If you give it your best, I'm happy.
The United States only beat Italy once. Clint Dempsey. That was the only victory that they've ever.
All right, Vincenzo, they're giving us a signal to wrap up. We got about 2 minutes.
Masucci, everybody, happy holidays.
Happy Thanksgiving, Vincenzo.
Happy Thanksgiving, Vincenzo.
Arrivederci.
All right, ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Like I always call him the great Vincenzo. You
He
know,
is great.
Hall of Fame, St. Francis College, Hall
Yes.
of Fame. So, hey, listen, he's a great soccer mind. Between him, you on the show tonight, forget it. The soccer mind we have.
Vincenzo's been on the field for the
How can you
past
forget
half a
minds?
century.
How can you forget me?
So,
How can you
anyway,
forget-
predictions for tomorrow. Friendly. Again, I mean, it's just a friendly.
Friendly, I would love to see a 2-2. Nice show.
Nice.
People enjoy.
Yeah.
They have fun.
They're saying 0-0-1-1. I mean,
So what are you saying?
the way both teams have been going, it's tough to figure these both teams out because United States lost England 3-0.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's.
Just pick a score quickly. We're
I
gonna run
can't
out
see
of time.
Italy not losing the game, but then why am I surprised? Anything could happen. You know, it's soccer. They could tie. United
All right.
States could
Anyway,
win.
I'm going to go with the more experienced players. I think Italy has the more experienced players.
They should win on paper.
And
on paper.
maybe they could edge the
But
U.S.
I
a
don't
little
think
bit.
80% of the players that played last Saturday will play.
No,
They're not
even the
playing.
young players on the Italian team, I think, have more experience than the American players, I think.
Oh, the second string players that.
Right,
yes,
so
that
I'm
play
going
with
to
the,
go, right. I think the experience for me will probably push the Italians ahead of the
Uncle
Americans.
Tony's got Italy winning
But-
2-0. 2-0. Uncle
That
Tony.
being said, it's a great experience for the American players to play against the Italian national team, no matter what team they put out there.
From different
course.
perspective,
You have
yes.
to play against the
Great
best.
experience for the American player to play against an international team with
Absolutely.
tradition, and the players of the Italian national team to
All right, guys.
also gain experience.
They're wrapping up the show without us on the screen, but thanks for watching. We'll see you guys soon.
mio sogno, quante volte mi hai deluso, non importa, io ci credo e vivo il mio sogno. Pari grande amore, pari unica e sola, Bari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo da solo. Facci sognare ancora, facci gridare ancora, facci gridare ancora. Bari nel nostro cuore.
Ho dedicato la mia vita, i momenti più felici, ad inseguire un sogno, il mio sogno. Quante volte mi hai deluso, non importa, io ci credo e vivo il mio sogno. Pari grande amore, pari unica e sola, pari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo da sola.
All right, welcome everyone to a brand new edition of the Staten Island Soccer Report, coming to you from the studios of CTV. We're back in Studio B alongside me, Brian Daw.
Hello, John.
What's going on, Brian? Well, you know what? I just figured we'd do an extra show. You know,
Why not?
We're start of a new season here for I guess for the youth side, and you know, there's soccer going all over the place. I figured, you know, I called Kenny up. I says, Kenny, can you get me in? Bang.
Good. It's
All right.
always good to get a show. Got to get people more and more to know we're coming out there, whether it's Facebook, whether it's on, you know, we're coming live on Facebook today.
Right.
Video, you know, we'll be playing.
We're going to turn it over to you because you're going to start us off with the travel teams and the youth soccer. But yeah, like you said, we just want to get out there. We want to get soccer out there as much as possible.
Definitely.
And again, this is all volunteer stuff that we do.
Mhm.
You know, so we're trying our best on our end. All right, take it away, Brian.
So let's go. Let's see where we're at. Soccer travel season started. Couple of weeks, supposed to start a week or two ago.
Right.
Weather slowed everybody down. We've had a show since the Fire last played.
Right.
Correct. So we talked about that, and then they advanced to the quarterfinals of the New York Cup off of a shutout, a forfeit. Unfortunately, the team that they were supposed to play, it sounds like it was a miscommunication by the coach or whatever out there on their end, and he couldn't field the team. So hey, a win's a win. Moves them along to the quarterfinals for the Fire. They haven't had a game since. Let's see, was it last? Yeah, it was
April 1st.
April 1st was their first game.
April Fool's, right?
April Fool's Day, and they haven't had a game. They're not going to have a game.
Let me just touch on that
for
cup.
2 weeks.
Let me just touch on that cup game that they were lucky enough to get that.
Mhm.
You know, because you know
It is.
you
It's
got to right. You know, I heard some feedback from other people. Like, oh, yeah, we got through, and in my mind, you say thank you and you move on. You don't say another word about it, because if you played the game coming off that first game that we played,
You don't know what would have happened.
Right, they didn't look good that first game,
No.
right? So you had the game the next day was a cup game. You had a league game, then a cup game. Now, so you just say thank you and you move on. That's it.
Right.
as far
That's
as
all you
that
can
goes.
do.
Right.
That's all you can do. But what should have been happening is, you know, watching outside looking in, there should have been more practice. You know you're coming up 2 weeks worth of you have no games. We had no games this past weekend that just passed, and I'm assuming it just felt that's the way it fell. Scheduling wise, maybe we had a bye or whatever, and now we won't have any games this Saturday or Sunday for Easter and Passover.
Right.
So that's 2 full weeks that you're not playing, and they're not playing. There's no friendly setup. That hurts a team. And practicing twice in those 2 weeks, because if I'm not mistaken, we practiced the Fire. We Fire practiced twice last week. Right,
Twice last week. They'll
and,
do
and one this week.
One this week.
And then it's back. But there's no game shape. There's nothing. Nobody's as it's harder to put that game shape on than it is to lose it. And now now you look at that team coming off of a rough loss, as it was rough.
Right.
Well, you're not doing anything about it, but it is what it is. But you got to prepare. We've seen it.
Just from being around the team, I know that
practice that was on Friday was okay, but the one before that wasn't even a good practice. And now to say that you don't even have a good practice,
Right.
That's
Right.
that's you know that's
well,
where,
that's it too. It is what it is.
Right.
You're not going to change it. It's
Yeah.
you got to prepare. They're in Division One. The littlest mistakes that may not be taken advantage of by those teams that were in Division Two are being taken advantage of in Division One, and you're going to pay for it. So there's not much more about fire to talk about. This past weekend, I could talk about my Freedom team.
Yep, we could definitely
it's
talk
easy,
about that.
It's easy to do that because it's firsthand knowledge.
Yeah,
we had a state cup game on Saturday, our round of 16 game, so it's the first round of the spring elimination against Sousa out in West Sayville, Long Island, about an hour and 40 minutes out. That was the trip on Saturday. But a beautiful complex, let me tell you. Beautiful complex. They had about 11 fields marked out. They had some small-sided fields marked out for the small-sided games with the build-out line, and then they had full-sided fields.
You're not surprised with Long Island
No,
having
I'm
great
not.
complexes,
I'm not.
right? I mean, that's them.
I'm not at all. So I know about the club.
Right.
So I know that they have a reputation of being good. I don't know what it was going to be. We went out there, came out. I was a little nervous after the way we played our first game. We took a 7-0 shellacking.
Right.
As a coach, I owned it right away. I wasn't happy about it. The kids were flat. Kids weren't ready. First game of the season, cold, no excuses. They weren't ready to play.
That was on the 2nd? Was that the
That was
April
on the
2nd?
2nd.
April 2nd, right?
Yes, that was
The day
April
after,
2nd. The day, yes. Cold out there, we went out, and what really bothered me even more, not only that we didn't play our soccer, we didn't play hard. There was no fight out there, and that's I couldn't get them up. I just couldn't. I didn't get them up beforehand. We lost, but what really bothered me, we beat this team 1-0 last year. And to come back and lose is one thing, but to lose 7-0, it just shows we weren't there. But to come back, so fast forward a week is Saturday's game, and right off the bat, back and forth playing defense, and one of our girls gets a run inside the box and earns the PK.
Okay.
So we bury the PK 1-0, and that's how the game ended. 1-0. Second half. Talking with my assistant coach, we both, he said it right off the bat. He is more defensive minded. He said, let's go. Because in State Cup, we play 7v7 under the newer rules. So we started out with a 2-3-1.
Okay.
Solid mid. But soon right off the bat, didn't even take any chances. Second half started, we went with 3 defenders, 2 mids, and a striker. I didn't take away the striker, just to keep it. And we missed out on a couple opportunities because not being wide.
Right.
But, thank God we played the 3 in the back. They came up, put a little pressure on. They rang one off the post.
Right. Okay.
Couple wide. But they wound up winning
Goalkeeper's
1-0.
best friend.
That's right. Wound up winning 1-0, advancing to quarterfinals. We are playing the HBC Raccoons. They're out from Long Island, but we got a home game, so it's a home game. It's in May.
How do they determine home and away games in the cup?
I don't know the initial side of it, like the first games. It might be seeding. So we had an away game.
So now you get.
We won and we advanced. So I believe if the team we're playing had a home game and we had an away game, we get the automatic home game for that. If we both had away games, I think then it goes seeding wise where you were. But we lucked out.
All right, so you got a home game.
We got a home game in May. Hopefully it'll be in Wagner on the grass field up at Wagner because the club really did a nice thing up there. They rented the field, the grass field. They were able to go out and mark the fields out, so it's fully marked fields, flags. We got the right size goals. We got everything there.
All right.
And it's nice. It's like a little stadium environment when you get up there in the grass.
Who gets to schedule that? Is it you or someone at the club?
Well, I have to work with our field coordinator at the club, and I put in the request that I'd like to go there. Hopefully they should have it. I think they rented it out for games. I don't know if they did it for the whole season.
All right.
Hopefully we can get that, but that's where we're going there. And then yesterday we had our league game.
You know, so coming off a 7-0 league game loss, was our league game. Now it's a change because now we're back to 8v8, and thankfully a different team, totally different team. Come out, you know, a week makes a difference.
Sure.
You know, getting them practicing, being a little hard on them. We worked on our, you know, one of the things I felt we were weak in our first game was our defensive positioning. So what did we do? We worked on defense and talked about it.
So you
And
talked
we wound
about
up winning
you talked
4-1.
about that loss, right?
Oh yeah, we
It's
talked
the
about
first thing you did when you into practice.
I didn't have much to say.
Right,
Of
well,
course,
but
after
you
the
had
game,
it.
there's not much to say. Then when we were at
Right.
the practice, as they're warming up and they're doing their thing, we're talking about, you know, hey, listen, it's not a good feeling.
Right.
It's not fun. We've never lost like that before.
Right,
We've lost
okay.
2-0, 3-0, but we've never gotten a beat in 7-0 before, and it's not a fun feeling.
Right.
So I talked about it. You know, myself, my assistant coach Russ, trainer Bob. I was on the phone with. You know, I really didn't talk to Bobby that day. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was very upset about the game. Listen, losing doesn't bother me. I've always said that. But when you don't go out there and try, if you don't go out there and try, I have a problem.
Right.
If you're not, if you're just, so needless to say, yesterday, all around great game by the girls, dropping into cover for defense, talking, communicating back and forth. You know. And we wound up winning 4-1.
Okay.
So we took a nice game and a great weekend, and now we just build off of it again.
So 1-1 in this.
1-1 in the early on in the season in our league.
In your league games, 1-1.
And we advance.
And you're in the quarterfinals.
We're in the quarterfinals now.
All right. Hey, look, still a long way to go.
And I didn't forget, neither did some of my girls forget that when we were on the show that we were told we at least got to get back to the semifinals.
You got to.
And you know what? It's a shot. You got to push it, and you do what you got to do.
Well, I look at it this way, and I'm not that I'm going to put pressure on you. I may. But
Oh, of course. You don't think I put pressure on myself?
You're playing a home
That's right.
game, Brian, and you got to win.
That's right.
That's it. You heard it here first.
That's why.
I mean, that's how I would look at
That's
it. If
it.
I'm coaching a team, or in whatever league, whatever it is,
Listen.
we're at home. Take advantage of the home field.
We're either going to be playing at Wagner or we're going to be playing at Millfield.
Aren't you
The
feeling...
game will be posted. The event will be posted on our SLSA Freedom Facebook page.
Okay.
And that's SLSA Freedom. That's our Facebook page. Go on, look at it. You get to see the girls, and it's going to be posted on the Soccer Report page.
Now, I don't know about...
Let's come down and watch them.
Yeah.
Home field advantage means something, right?
Isn't it a better feeling for you? I don't know about the girls playing home instead of traveling.
Oh, it's a big difference for us because for me, and even the parents, we got to drive.
Right.
It's a big thing.
Right.
Believe me, you don't
They
want to
get
drive.
tired.
You know, we traveled an hour and 10 minutes last week to lose.
Right,
And again,
Well, you didn't know that.
I didn't know that,
But-
but after, afterwards, it's not a loss. I could walk home and get in the car, drive home and say, okay, we played hard. You know, I honestly felt that, and I said this to two parents yesterday afterwards, that I could have, if we would have lost yesterday, 2-1, 3-2, whatever it was, but we lost playing the way we played, then you know what? The other team was better than us. We did everything we could. You played hard. You did everything. And that's different.
Yeah, they showed some effort, so you feel okay. When you don't see the effort, that's when you feel. That's when you get upset about it. All right, so you're in a good spot.
I'm in a good spot. It went well.
I just put some extra.
You
pressure
might put a
on
little
it.
pressure on.
But you're at home, so get that win and move on to the semifinals, right?
Yes, we're moving to semifinals, and we can. I know. Just to bring it up, I don't know the particulars of the score, but I know that our SLSA U12 Fusion girls were in the round of 16 elimination, and I believe they lost.
Okay.
I don't know the exact score, but they lost, congratulations to them on making it to the round of 16. That's a big accomplishment in itself.
I've seen a lot of updates over this past weekend. A lot of
Yeah, I saw a lot of that on their Facebook. Yep, Kenny's team, Kenny and the Chargers.
Right.
They had a great weekend. I believe they won twice this weekend.
Both league and
They did a great job. And I really haven't had a chance to go around and look at all the boys teams.
It's
and
early still.
It's still early, so it really doesn't. You can't catch anything. But I believe everybody's doing well But I do have a couple, since we're on travel, I want to make a couple of announcements.
Yep.
And again, send them to us. We'll post them on our
Right.
Facebook page.
Yep.
We'll announce them. Everything I'm giving you now is I found on my own.
Right.
I found from being, friends of, liking Facebook of Staten Island, of Silver Lake, being part of Silver
Right,
Lake,
right.
following Sea to
We
Stars.
Oh,
still don't have anyone, like, we're talking about directors.
Anybody.
Other than really
Silver Lake.
Other than them,
Nobody
no one else
else.
really feeds
Nope.
us information so
No.
we can get it out there to people.
Right.
But it's okay. Eventually, I think they'll come
I
around.
just, you might have known from bouncing around, but I just found out that, Staten Island Soccer. So Staten Island Youth Soccer now is Staten Island Soccer League.
Right.
Started their own travel program.
yeah,
I see teams training, boys teams and girls teams training at Owl Hollow.
Right.
From what I'm hearing, they're under the umbrella of Sea to Stars. Whatever it is, but there's now, I bark about this all the time. There's another travel program
Right,
on
just
Staten
waters
Island.
everything down
Keep
more.
watering down the talent pool. Maybe they don't like what we have to say, that we're blunt about it. They don't want to come on.
Listen,
But
again,
you're
it's
watering down the talent pool, and
It's our opinion, and that's all it
that's
is.
exactly
it's just an
it.
opinion. We're gonna. If there's something that they want us, just
correct
come
us,
on.
come on,
Yeah,
clear something up.
exactly.
That's great. We've had referees on the show.
I've had referees. We've had directors
From Silver Lake. We've had Neil was from St. Teresa's.
Right.
And,
plenty. We've had
some, but
teams come on from Brooklyn.
But,
we've
but
had
I'd
some
rather
stuff.
see that we get some more, coaches that are talk about your team, talk about you. But needless to say, not only is it the start of the season, but it's also now it starts rolling. Here comes
Right.
the tryout time.
Right. Yep.
So, announcement of just 2017 tryouts for the Silver Lake Soccer Academy. Go to their website, silverlakesoccer.com. Just briefly, and we'll post this again on our Soccer Report Facebook page. But the tryouts are going to be, we have age groups 1, boys and girls. Birth years 2005, 2002 through 2005, and then age group 1, girls only, 1999 through 2001 would be Monday and Wednesday, May 8th and 10th from 6 to 8 at Miller Field.
Okay.
Ball, cleats, water. Age group 2, 2006 through 2010, boys and girls. Tuesday and Thursday, 6 to 8. The 9th and 11th at Miller Field 1.
Right.
Any questions, again, go to the website, silverlakesoccer.com. Email, there they have the emails. The director, you'll see the post of the posting of the flyer. Also, again, just Silver Lake, as we have it here. Silver Lake's getting ready to start their summer clinic.
Right.
Every year they do a summer clinic. It's 10 sessions, so it's usually two a week.
It's 2 weeks, right?
2 a week, an hour. I believe it's an hour and a half. Great session. My girls started there. Your girls have
Right.
attended.
Yes.
I've worked it, just to help out, and it's nice working with it. Again, it's Mondays and Wednesdays from 6 to 7:30, starting June 19th. And you'll get 10 sessions. And it's at Miller Field again. Cost $120. You get a T-shirt and they say a gift, and usually
Right.
it's nice, something nice, little trinket
Yeah,
to remember your
right.
experience
At the end of the
at the end of the
Right.
at the end of the session. Ages of 4 through 13, both boys and girls, beginners to experience to advanced. It's a great time. It's nice seeing all. Even if I go there just to see the kids and walk around. I'm not gonna lie. I use it
Maybe
to
do a little
recruit.
scouting.
I do a little recruiting, a little
course.
scouting there. But it's great. It's great what the
Yeah.
club does.
Yeah.
Gives back.
Just want to acknowledge Michael. He's one of my followers.
Oh, yes, I
on
see
the
Michael's
page.
name pop up all the
How
time.
you doing, Michael? Any questions? Just just type it out and we'll try and answer.
Again, jump onto the Silver Lake Soccer.com website. All the information there. Also, again, Silver Lake is actually starting their spring soccer clinic, which starts May 3rd, and that's from 5 to 6 on Wednesdays. Boys and girls ages 3 to 5. That's $100 for 8 sessions. You get a T-shirt and a medal. Again, soccer ball, cleats. So that's another thing. It's all on the website. And one important thing, we mentioned at the last show, Doc Nygren, very big and influential in soccer on Staten Island and Silver Lake. Silver Lake Soccer Academy is sponsoring or hosting the first, I'm going to say first annual. It's their first one, and I'm sure it'll be ongoing. Memorial Doc Nygren soccer match. And that'll be on Saturday, April 29th from 1 to 3 at Miller Field, right in New Dorp Lane. I know the invitation's out there. It's open to anybody, but they really put the invitation out there to former Silver Lake players, anybody that played soccer on Staten Island, to come, coaches, everybody. And
so what's going on? Is there an actual game going on?
I believe it's going to be a game, like an alumni game.
Okay.
There's going to be cheer-on plays. They're going to make teams. I don't know how that background is going to be, but that also is mentioned on the page, but I definitely wanted to put that out there. A lot has been done by the Nygren family to promote soccer on Staten Island, and I think that's a great cause to get out there.
You probably won't want it any other way.
Yeah, no, and I think it would be great. I think they're barbecuing, like it's going to be a nice little event, 2 hours. And then I follow it, so I want to put it out there to be fair. Sea to Stars Staten Island have announced their tryouts, and again, it's probably on their website. Up there, you can grab it because they have it broken down. It looks like girls, and I'm not going to go through ages, but it looks like it's anywhere from, and they're 2 days, anywhere from April 24th and May 1st. So it's fluctuating April 24th, May 1st, April 25th, May 2nd. But go to their page. They're at Wagner College. Some are at Wagner. The girls are at Wagner College. The boys are at College of Staten Island. And they break it down by years. And that's what it is. But again, on their website. So anybody out there, you're interested on Staten Island, that's the tryout report.
All right. So basically covered just about all we can as far as travel. Games, tryouts, right?
Yeah, no,
pretty much covered everything as far as that goes.
Definitely.
All right. Nothing going on the rec side. You don't have any information on rec, do you?
I can speak the little bit I can speak about rec is what I know from the U10 age group, because that's my age, and there are some girls from my team that play.
Russell's team.
Russell, St. Charles Jaguars. Okay. I know I believe they played twice. Okay. And I believe they won twice.
We need to get Russell on.
I could always get Russell or call in. Russell's a coach on that team. Right. Coach D, Coach Diego. I know them all. Coach D and Diego coach the U10 Phoenix from Silver Lake, so they work together. Russell with them. But I know they won. I know that several girls play for Our Lady Queen of Peace. The Our Lady Queen of Peace Blue Angels. I don't know their record. I know, I think they might have won their first game. I don't know about the second game. I believe they might have tied. But I want to bring this up to you because do you know that it started in the fall? I didn't know this. U10, they're playing 11v11.
Yes. Yes, I did know that. Starting at U10, you play 11v11.
But that's not. But they're supposed to follow the U.S. soccer guidelines, and the U.S. soccer guidelines is 7v7 at that age.
Somebody from the league has to answer that. I mean, I can't even answer.
The guy who runs the league is a vice president on Eastern New York. Oh. To me, I'm going to tell you my opinion. Since we said it's my opinion, my opinion is you're playing 11v11 at U10. So that you can get more registrations in, put more kids on a team, and you could put it in there because you don't have enough to make two teams at 11v11.
It's been like that for years.
I think that's ridiculous because it's U.S. mandated guideline that you had until now. You have until the fall
of this year
of 17, 18, fall season to get all the changes where it's got to go 7v7 at that age.
Okay.
Every other league at U10. If they're not 7v7, they are 8v8. Right. And they're 11v11.
It is what again, I can't. We got to get someone from the league to answer that.
They're 11v11. One of my teams, couple of girls on my team play on a team that, because of them having travel players on it. Right. They don't have when they have to go to a game and they can't be at their rec game. Right. because they play 11v11, they're playing short-handed.
Wow. Yeah, they don't have enough.
Because they don't have enough to field an 11v11 team when kids leave. So so not only do you say, okay, guess what? Now you play 8v8. No, you still make them play down people. Right. It's just absurd. And if anybody out there from Staten Island Youth Soccer wants to call in, wants to Facebook us, wants to come in on the show and talk, explain why you're doing that and going against what Youth Soccer says, I'd love to know. Yeah. I'd love to know.
All right, on a different note, and we're going to wrap up the recreational soccer. Benny Fazio's watching. We'll say hello to Benny. Any questions? Benny. Just type it in, Benny. I'm back into the coaching mix, I'll say.
Yeah, I meant to ask you about that.
Yeah, well, it's mainly because of my daughter. She wants to play, and she kind of like dragged me. She wouldn't do it unless I was part of the coaching. So I'm back in it with the Richmond Town Fury, and we practicing. Our first practice is Thursday. Their first game is not until after Easter. So,
okay.
So
and now what is that? U12?
They're playing U12.
Sono Francesco, saluto
Buongiorno.
Francesco Monteleone che
Buongiorno.
è il mio ospite preferito, lui lo sa benissimo.
Grazie.
Senti Enzo, ad avvalorare la tesi precisa e scientifica che ha fatto Francesco su Sciaudone, che appunto della quale sono pienamente d'accordo, ad avvalere la sua tesi si è proprio visto evidentemente il fatto che da essere uomo spogliatoio, uomo dei selfie, ad un certo punto praticamente si è spenta completamente la lampadina. Lui non è più apparso come era prima e quindi praticamente questo deduce cosa? Quello che ha detto Francesco, che era bene cambiare, era bene dare anche a lui nuovi stimoli, quindi tutto sommato non è negativo il fatto che lui sia andato via, sia per lui che anche per la squadra. E poi volevo chiedere una cosa a Francesco, che Francesco sembra distratto, ma non lo è assolutamente, si evince da alcuni particolari in trasmissione che tiene sempre in considerazione. Francesco, ascolta, io sono forse uno degli unici che ha sempre ripetuto, in trasmissione anche, che un tassello fondamentale da cambiare in squadra è il portiere. Io sono convinto di questo, perché il portiere dà fiducia a tutto il reparto. Quando si fa una squadra si parte dal primo uomo. Io non ho nulla contro il nostro portiere, però ho la sensazione che lui non dia fiducia alla squadra.
Va bene, grazie Francesco. Il primo si chiama Donnarumma, lo sai, no?
Si chiama Donnarumma, sì. Ho sentito molti tifosi, dunque intanto non facciamo una trasmissione su di me perché io sono l'ultima ruota del carro, sono un appassionato di calcio di mediocre livello. Su Donnarumma ho sentito moltissimi tifosi che si chiedevano perché ha sostituito il portiere l'anno scorso, che era stato altrettanto affidabile, è stato un atto punitivo ingiustificato. Questo Donnarumma non mi sembra, diciamo, un campione, non mi sembra però che abbia fatto molti
Però a mio
sbagli.
avviso paga soprattutto il fatto di aver sostituito il portiere che era rimasto nel cuore dei tifosi.
E questo lo subisce lui stesso, Enzo. Lì c'è bisogno, diciamo, di spiegare a queste persone.
Di rimettere a posto.
Di rimettere a posto, c'è bisogno di spiegare a queste persone i ruoli, la storia, il loro valore individuale e quello collettivo. C'è bisogno di un enzima nel corpo, il corpo funziona attraverso enzimi. Ci vuole il lievito in questa squadra, un lievito mentale, bisogna farlo allenamente, bisogna aiutare queste persone non solo a potenziare i muscoli, ma anche, diciamo, la loro cultura e la loro consapevolezza di sé, che è lasciata a se stessa. Ma ti dirò che questo discorso vale anche per i dirigenti,
Certo.
perché tutti questi venditori, direttori sportivi, anche per loro vale lo stesso. Loro devono approfondire, diciamo, e conoscersi meglio. Per il Bari, ma vale anche per
qualsiasi
l'Inter.
altro settore. Certo.
E se continuano a cambiare, come dicevamo prima, ingiustificatamente, a smantellare semplicemente perché qualcosa non funziona più, non succederà niente di diverso da quello che è già accaduto. Come dicevi prima, mescolando gli elementi estranei, non succede, si guasta l'oggetto, non è che si migliora, si guasta.
Intanto chiedo a Francesco, che è intervenuto per ultimo, di sbloccare il telefono perché ha bloccato le linee, quindi se ci può dare una mano a risolvere il problema. Nel frattempo, oggi ha parlato Minala, che è un po' un personaggio anche con questa storia tutta strana, addirittura in un sito, so se nigeriano, del Camerun, hanno detto ma che 19 anni, 20 anni, questo ha 42 anni, non vi fate ingannare che questo ha 42 anni.
No,
Poi
fantastico.
sono arrivate le smentite, insomma, Minala, però obiettivamente il dubbio, ora non dico che abbia 42 anni, ma il dubbio sul fatto che abbia 20 anni, guardandolo in faccia, resta, è quasi spontaneo. Possibile che un ventenne sia così? Voglio anche il parere di Francesco Monteleone, per intanto lo sentiamo.
Bellissimo.
Bene, bene, bene. Io sto tranquillo, sereno, sto lavorando per poter, come ho sempre fatto, come ho sempre detto dal primo giorno che sono arrivato qua. Io vedo il campionato ancora aperto, perché comunque il campionato inizia adesso, ci saranno tante partite, se non sbaglio ci sta a 60 punti, dunque ancora si può poter prima pensare a fare i 50 punti, la salvezza poi vedremo. Io sto lavorando per potermi far ancora pronto, per mettermi in difficoltà e per poter giocarmela. E poi le scelte vengono a essere rispettate da tutti, non c'è, come ho sempre detto, perché quello che quando sono arrivato qua mi hanno fatto capire, non c'è un titolare, non c'è una riserva, bisogna lottare tutti i giorni per guadagnarsi il posto. Poi chi viene schierato in campo, chi la vede dalla panchina, dalla tribuna, è sempre è la stessa cosa, bisogna sempre guardare avanti nella stessa parte e niente. 100% no, perché è una cosa che comunque ho capito che ce lavoro sempre, ma io in questo momento non me la sento di fare l'intervento e comunque lo staff mi stanno curando, mi stanno aiutando e riesco a non sentirla ogni tanto, ma in questo momento a me l'intervento non mi va di fare. Ho sempre fatto la mezzala e come sono venuto qua che ho sempre fatto la mezzala dove sono stato diciamo formato per fare la mezzala, poi la bravura di uno fa che comunque in certe situazioni della partita può coprire o aiutare in qualsiasi posto e come ho sempre detto dove vengo a essere schierato l'importante è dare il massimo e pensare alla squadra. Non c'è niente, non mi invento il calcio io perché io so quello che vedete voi. Chi mi vede fare l'allenamento tutti i giorni non è sorpreso di quello che ha visto anche Latina o ha visto prima o dopo, perché questo sono io. E poi in campo, come per me, ho sempre detto, il calcio è un divertimento.
Hai visto Minala?
Bravissimo, persona straordinaria, questo è un uomo intelligente, molto intelligente.
Ma a 20 anni o di più?
Bisognerebbe togliergli il cappello però, perché sono i capelli bianchi. Nel caso tuo, diciamo, è evidente.
È inequivocabile, diciamo.
Ho visto che c'è il cappello.
Solo Bette che aveva i capelli bianchi da giovane.
Ma comunque gli africani sono io mi ricordo il Senegal di 3 campionati mondiali fa, ce n'era uno che aveva 40 anni, Nkonu, mi sa che si chiamava, il portiere.
Miglia, Roger Miglia, attaccante del Camerun, ti ricordi che aveva 40 anni?
Aveva 40 anni e ne dimostrava, ma tanto contano le prestazioni, sono i risultati quelli che contano. Lui mi sembra un uomo intelligente, ha imparato la lingua e poi ha fatto una citazione che mi ha commosso.
Quale?
La mezzala. Finalmente si torna
all'interno di centrocampo,
l'interno del 4-4-3,
la mezzala, il numero 8.
Sì, l'8 o il
numero
10.
l'8,
Non esageriamo. Tu sei uno che gioca a centrocampo a 6, noi ci siamo già detti, giochiamo a
Solo
5.
Pryor mi ha dato ormai da titolare inamovibile alla squadra dei giornalisti. Solo Carlo, quindi Carlo per me rimane il massimo competente che abbia mai conosciuto, perché mi ha dato il merito quando giocavo nella squadra di giornalisti, io ero, ti ricordi, il perno del centrocampo, l'unico che mi ha dato l'effettivo valore.
Credeva nelle nostre incapacità, per questo ha sospeso la sua attività.
E quindi con me è andato proprio
ma anche con me,
sicuro.
con Dino Petrelli, ci sono tutta una serie di, purtroppo, buonanima di Dino, c'erano tutta una serie di giocatori precari a 5 tocchi. Noi siamo giocatori a 5 tocchi, Enzo. Cioè, se ci arriva il pallone tra i piedi, dobbiamo arrovellarci per gestirlo. Invece il giocatore vero lo prende e lo dà
subito.
Oppure ci sono quelli raffinatissimi.
Parla per te però, perché l'unica cosa che so fare è
ci stanno i filmati a Telebai, chiama Federico e fa vedere i filmati di Napoli.
Allora, come vi ho detto ieri, stasera viene presentato a Trani il libro del professor Antonucci, Il pallone quadrato, e ci colleghiamo con chi ospita questo evento, con Lorenzo Procacci. Ciao Lorenzo, buon pomeriggio.
Ciao Enzo.
tornando a Minala, magari avesse 40-50 anni, a noi servono giocatori di esperienza, quindi mi farebbe piacere, abbiamo bisogno dell'esperienza di un giocatore navigato, quindi 40-50 anni.
Lorenzo, dacci qualche coordinata sull'evento
Allora,
di stasera. Sì.
il circolo di Norisi ospiterà questa sera la presentazione del carissimo nostro amico, il buon Gianni Antonucci, al quale noi siamo legati da profondo affetto e devozione perché è uno storico straordinario e persona di grande umanità, anche perché lui ha fortemente lanciato a Trani, visto che è stato nostro ospite, la possibilità di fondare un Bari Club Trani. Quindi stasera, ecco, questa presentazione...
Perfetto. A che ora è la presentazione?
Allora, saremo qui dalle 18:45, quindi alle 19 inizierà la presentazione del libro, vedremo anche alcune immagini che il professore ha selezionato e parleremo anche della possibilità di iscriversi a questo Bari Club Trani che aderisce alla Bari Siamo Noi, quindi saremo con questi amici e l'evento che apre, diciamo, le attività di questo Bari Club, neonato Bari Club di Trani.
Grazie Lorenzo, un saluto ovviamente a te e a tutti gli amici di Trani, va bene, un abbraccio. Allora, torniamo insieme per andare in pausa pubblicitaria, non volendo, ma devo dirti la verità, non ci avevo pensato, non ci avevo pensato, giuro. Sabato si gioca a Perugia-Bari, è il tuo derby, ne parliamo tra poco.